Assalamu alaikum, family. Okay, so first of all, I've been trying to get this video done for probably a week or so now, and I thought I would be able to get it done right now because all of the children are either laying down or asleep. She just woke up. But I figured I can't keep waiting. Seriously, I cannot keep waiting, because if I keep waiting, it's never gonna get done. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. So I have started to read this book called Positive Parenting. And the primary reason why I started reading this book is that I couldn't figure out another way to parent, right? Because I feel like the tools that I was given coming up wasn't productive. You know, the yelling, the excessive discipline by physical force, or whatever the case may be. And I know that sometimes us as parents, it's necessary for us to discipline our children in that way, but I'm just like over it. Like, I think that there has to be another way. And sometimes, you know, that form of discipline doesn't really transcend well. Like, they still do what they want to do anyway. Or it's only for that moment and it doesn't correct the behavior. And that's what my goal in parenting is. If I discipline my children for something, I want to essentially correct the behavior. I don't want to have the problem with the behavior again. And so since I was not given the tools, I wanted to figure it out myself, to go find the tools. And then the other thing also that I realized is that a lot of our frustration as parents comes from just not knowing what to do. We get so caught up in the moment of being frustrated, and that frustration just stems from us like, okay, they did this, what do I do now? Since I don't know what to do that works effectively, I'm going to yell, scream, or whatever may have you, to try to get them to listen or follow instructions. And so one thing that I saw in this book that I think is very important, and I think that it's a conversation that definitely needs to be had, is the idea that once we become parents, or once people find out that we are going to become parents, from there, it just seems like everything about parenting that we're taught or the advice that we're given is negative. So I wanted to find this part. Like I said, I thought I was going to have time to do this. I would have had this done before, but I have to find it. I'll put the quote inside of the video. But it was basically saying that, you know, when you find out that you're pregnant, or you tell people that you're pregnant or you're expecting, the first thing is most of the advice or suggestions that you're given is negative. It's like, the first thing is like, oh, it's hard, but it's worth it. You about to lose sleep. Oh, make sure that you're strict on this. Don't let your baby manipulate you. Do this so they don't manipulate you. When your baby cry, leave them in a room, and all the kind of this stuff, all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking like, a lot of the I don't want to say traumas, but the trials that we go through as parents comes from our very first experience or our very first conversation in regards to parenting being negative. Like, when I think back to the time when I had my first daughter, most of the advice was really just like almost terrifying in a way, if I really sat down and think about it, because it's like, all of this stuff that I'm going to miss out on, basically, and all this stuff that I have to look out for. It's never uplifting in my experience. It's not uplifting. It's not happiness. You know, of course, people say congratulations, but it has to be something more than that. Like, how about we try to give good parenting forethought? Or I'm not sure if that's the word that I'm looking for, but good parenting experiences up hand. Like, you know, oh, the first time you see your baby, it's going to be amazing. It's going to change you in so many positive ways. The first time you pee on your baby pees on you is going to be so funny, or whatever, just like things that aren't rooted in the experience of being a parenting equaling like something negative. And so that was almost mind-blowing to me when I read it in the book, because you don't really think about it, but once it's brought to your attention, it's so true, so true. And it's so true to the point where I'm sitting here thinking of things that we could share with each other to uplift new parents, and it's kind of difficult because you've never heard it before. And it really takes time and thought to sit and think about. Although, yes, I love my children, so it's easy to talk about the reasons why I love my children, but it's not easy to share that in a way that will prepare another parent for that. So like, all the fun times when you see them take their first steps, or you see them like have little bitty quirks about you in them, or you see something in them that you've done in the past, and how reflective it is, how having children helps you grow as not just a parent, but just as a person, because you see your flaws really come out in your children, and you're like, whoa, you have to really take a step back and evaluate, how dare I punish my child, or how dare I reprimand my child for doing something, but they're only learning it from me, that kind of thing. So that's what I wanted to share. And there's a couple other things in this book that I want to share as I'm reading through it, but I think it's very, very important that we start being more positive when we share advice with other people in regard to becoming parents. So peace, family, and I'll see you on the next video.